Hello, lovely people, and welcome to my channel. My name is Stephanie, and this is Evolve Chit. It's my little corner of the world where I like to talk about spirituality, metaphysical stuff, universal laws, and psychology. So, I'd like to talk about a topic that is pretty popular if you're in the manifestation or twin flames community, and that is, what is your specific person or divine masculine doing when you're off doing your thing? So, this would imply that maybe you're not in the relationship that you desire just yet. I was thinking about this because my person and I got together the other night and we had a really great time and a great conversation. And it just got me thinking about when I was in those phases, and especially when I wasn't really certain or unsure about what the hell was going on. I always wondered, what is he doing? Like, what's going on? Like, this is crazy. Um, so, what was he or is he doing when we're not together or talking all the time? And I guess it's like any other person. He was focusing on his life and trying to navigate his trauma and challenges and have fun and enjoy himself. So, what I find really interesting is that as I can see in reflection, as the energy field between us had balanced and has balanced over the past couple of years, the mirroring is pretty incredible. And for our dynamic, it had meant like growth in terms of emotional intelligence, just the direction in professional life and creative pursuits, and wellness, fitness, nutrition, and personal wellness. So, really just taking personal responsibility for our energy. And also, we really love to talk about, and this is one of my things I love to talk about with him, is eradicating ancestral baggage and trauma-informed beliefs. And then, of course, we talk about metaphysical stuff too, and always just such an awesome conversation that we have. And everyone's experience may be different, but this is ours. So about a day after that, I was just reflecting on our dynamic, like a social scientist, not the divine feminine. So, and I reflected on the history of the mirroring in our relationship. And I wanted to look at that from like a 50,000 foot view of where I've been on my journey and where I'm at, in contrast to what has been mirrored back to me and what is being mirrored back to me. Not just by him, but just, anyone I come into contact with. And, doing my best to look at it objectively in a way that's about learning and self-assessment, where, maybe I have some bumps I still need to smooth out, or things just to consider. So what I can say is that the one thing that we hear when people talk about this topic, that is, when we balance the energy field, they come running back in. I can say, in my experiences, that is very true. And so what I realized with that in reflection, it is when I was being consistent with my self-care stuff, my self-concept. I was focusing on my life. I wasn't letting it bother me, because it didn't. I was just like, whatever, okay, moving on. I can see that for what it is. But then when I started to see that cycle, like, whoa, this really is an energy dynamic. It really is. It's not the, the Hollywood movie stuff. It is an energy dynamic. So what I can say is that when I was making my life all about me, he would come running back in and he would make it all about me. So this is validation that focusing on yourself and pouring into yourself and what you're here to experience and what you want to do, and not making it about a person, place, or thing, they come in. So what I found in this is that it has been really helpful for me to make it about an emotion, about how I'm going to feel in that experience and how I'll feel in that connection. And this is where like Neville Goddard's content comes in, and a lot of the law of assumption teachings. So it's like, who are you as a person right now, having your human experience in this moment? How are you showing up? Are you being empowered by love, or are you acting out of fear? So what I can report is that, based on my assessment of my interactions with my person over the last couple of years, staying focused on my own game, he always approaches me in his way, and always with adoration and respect. And so in my assessment of that, when I look at it, I can say that when that happens, it is happening when I am in alignment with myself, my stuff. And I'm wrapping myself up in love and adoration and respect, even when it's hard. And I know that sounds weird maybe to some people, but um, sometimes our trauma has made it hard for us to, love ourselves unconditionally. And that's something that I had to explore more of in my life. So I love, adore, and respect myself even when I don't. And I'm focusing more on my stuff, and as a result, consciously and subconsciously, because while my trauma made me funny, it also made me and had me ignore a lot of red flags in other people and relationships. So I needed to do some deep rewiring of my mindset, specifically as it relates to value and worth. This journey wasn't easy for me. This part of it wasn't. Now that I see, the forest for the trees, I can see where I was getting hung up. And having this knowledge has been hugely beneficial because we are energetic beings and we throw off vibes, and those vibes are a frequency, and then you will magnetize in accordingly. And at the time of this recording, February 9th, 2024, there are many astrological aspects happening now that are conducive for highly potent manifestation and creating more magic in your life. So take advantage of this cosmic climate to focus on your thoughts, to focus on your words. Are you walking your talk? Are you even being consistent with your talk, your inner talk, and the words you speak to others? So when I did and do my vibes check-ins, I like to see where I'm being inconsistent in my thinking, in contrast to my desires. So, for example, of inconsistent thinking, let's say somebody wants to be in a relationship or they want a new job or whatever the desire is, and yet they're negating that desire with their inner conversations, so their inner thoughts or things that they're doing or saying to others. And that could be something that's the opposite of what they want. So, for example, if somebody wants a relationship, they may be thinking that, all men are, whatever, no one's available, no one wants a relationship, blah, blah, blah. Or the same with a job or their coworkers or whatever. So when your inner conversation is in the opposite of what your desire is, then you will get muddied results. So you want to be sure that you're being mindful of what your desires are, and two, what your inner conversation is and vibration is to that desire. So if you have low vibes or bad vibes because of a belief or a mindset about how men are in relationships, well, you're going to get more of that. And same for your job. Even when stuff's shitty, I've noticed that things can be really tough. This just happened to me at work. I had this stress around something, and I was just like, I'm not going to do that. I'm like, don't do it. Everything's going to be all right. It's going to work out. And it was something stupid too. It's always like silly stuff like that. And usually the silly stuff is what causes us to spiral. And so then like 2 days later, my coworker reached out to me and he was like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. We're going to handle that. And I was like, yes. So I realized like, hey, it could have gone any number of ways, but I ended up changing my thinking. And I was just like, you know what, however it goes, I will figure it out and it'll all work out. And which is why that affirmation, everything's working out for me, is such a good one, because stuff's going to work out for you one way or the other. So that's an example of the inconsistent energy and ways in which you can keep on top of it so you're staying in alignment and keeping your vibration high. So where do you have energy leaks? This is a great opportunity to assess your internal communication, like your inner monologue, that soundtrack that's going on in your mind. And what's your external communication like? How are you, speaking and talking, and what are you saying to others? So take some time to be your own social scientist and observe yourself. What are you thinking? Which usually leads to what you're believing, and perhaps, that is rooted in your subconscious mind. So use this as an opportunity to see where you may be out of alignment with your desires, hopes, wishes, and dreams, because I'm sure you would be surprised. We have thousands and thousands of thoughts every day. I know I was like, damn, my inner thoughts can be real bitchy when they want to be. So when I observed myself, I could see where my words and actions weren't aligning with my desires and my values. And it's something I had to address and get my arms wrapped around. So it's something that if you're resonating with this, you can do it too. And when I did it, I was like, man, I'm not like walking my talk. And how could I walk my talk when my talk was all over the place? And when I started to see how I was being inconsistent, I had to clean up the shop. I had to get rid of some of that noise. And, I'm still me. I'm still sassy. I'm still silly. But, in my way, I just don't want to be toxic to myself or to others. So I needed to get that together. So I'd like to encourage you to take the next week or so to observe where you may be negating your desires with your inner conversation or thoughts, and also how you're interacting with and speaking with other people. So this is actually a great opportunity to do this. I have a free ebook on my website called The 7-Day Mindset, and it's resetting your subconsciousness by developing your self-concept. So it's totally free. Go to evolvedchit.com, get started page, and download that to do some simple exercises that'll help you get into alignment and elevate your vibration. So this is just a reminder. You are loved, you are necessary, you are so important, and you are really needed right now. So step into your power. Until next time, I'm sending you lots of love and good vibes for your journey. Bye.